Carbohydrates. What comes to your mind when I say that? Carbs are bad, carbs are fattening, you shouldn't be eating them. Yeah. Carbs receive an undeservedly bad reputation. Carbs are not bad. They are just very misunderstood. Hey there, this is Neely with Neely on Nutrition. In a recent series of videos, I talked a lot about diets, in particular fad type diets, the kind of diets that are popular for a period of time, maybe even years, but then eventually go away and we wait for something else to come along and take its place. They're diets I don't recommend because they're not sustainable. And then the most recent video I did, I talked about what I do recommend, the 3 ingredients for the healthy diet and what 3 diets in particular I recommend. You can watch that video up here in the link. Now, what's interesting about those videos and the video and the 3 diets in particular that I recommend, they are plant-based diets. Do you know what plants are? They're carbs. They're carbohydrates. Yes, so we need those carbohydrates. But yet there's a lot of confusion about the whole umbrella of carbohydrates. Unlike what you may have heard, carbs are not bad. As I mentioned, they're just misunderstood. Their primary function is to give the body energy. Not all carbohydrates are created equal. There's a big difference between a lentil and a lollipop, right? But all carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. There are several different categories under the umbrella of carbohydrates, and that's what I want to talk to you about next. There are starches or complex carbohydrates or starchy carbs, fruits, non-starchy veggies, dairy, including milk and yogurt, and then of course all of the various different types of sugar. So why do people think carbohydrates are bad? Besides all the diets saying don't eat carbs, whatever, it's kind of crazy. There's 3 reasons. One of them is just overconsumption, the portions of them just beyond what we need to be eating. For example, let's say that you like Italian food and you eat at an Italian restaurant or get takeout from an Italian place. You have a huge mound of pasta, maybe some bread with it, and maybe even a dessert. That is a ton of carbohydrates. In and of themselves, it's not that the carbs are bad, it's just that the quantity that we're consuming is too much. Now, any of the macronutrients, whether it's carbohydrate, protein, or fat, any of them can be overconsumed. But carbohydrates, because they're so plentiful in our food supply, it makes it really easy to overeat the carbohydrates. The second reason are all of the ultra-processed foods, or what I call the highly manufactured food-like substances. They are so prevalent in our food supply. Unbelievable. And many of them are manufactured with this perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat. The sugar, of course, being the carbohydrate. And it makes it very easy to overconsume and very hard to stop. Furthermore, the amount of food in the food supply, we don't buy food just at the grocery store, for sure. We buy it at the checkout line in your Home Depot, in your Office Depot, in the craft supply store, in the big box technology store. Look at the checkout lines. It's loaded with all of this junk type food that just makes it really easy to impulse buy. And plus, most of those foods are very palatable. It's the amount of food, and especially the carbohydrates, that are a part of all of these snack type foods that makes it really hard. It's no wonder that carbs get a bad rap. So overconsumption, the ultra-processed food, and the third reason are all of the sugar-sweetened beverages. The little 7.5-ounce Coca-Cola. That is what a serving size used to be. Nowadays, it's not uncommon to have a 16 or 20-ounce soda. For example, this 20-ounce Coca-Cola, pure sugar. And it's not just sugar-sweetened beverages like soda. It can be energy drinks or vitamin-type waters or the added sugar and coffee drinks that you might get. So I want to illustrate how much sugar is in a soda like this. When you look at the grams of carbohydrates, pure sugar, there's 65 grams in here. There are approximately 4 grams per teaspoon. So if we do the math on that, I did it for you. There's 16 teaspoons of sugar, all added sugar in this particular soda. Each of these packets illustrates a teaspoon. That is a lot of added sugar, right? If I were to go to somebody that might be drinking a soda and ask them to open up these packets of sugar and eat 16 packets of sugar, I don't think it's going to happen. But that is what the equivalent is. So we just don't think about it when we are drinking the sugar. And if your diet consists of a lot of ultra-processed foods or restaurant meals that have a lot of carbs in them or sugar-sweetened beverages, and you go on a low-carb diet, then you're going to be eliminating entire classifications of food, and choices are limited, so it kind of naturally comes about that you might eat less. Furthermore, as I've illustrated in some other past videos, the water loss that you experience when you eliminate the carbohydrates in your diet, and I'll link to that up here, but and also in the description, because it's important to note that where that weight loss is from, because it's not pure fat, that's for sure. It's mostly water, but that's, you know, the excitement people experience when they first embark on a low carb type diet. So back to the question, are carbohydrates bad? No, they're not. We do need to limit the quantity. We want to focus on the type of carbohydrate, again, focusing on fruits and those non-starchy veggies and the whole grains. And and if you consume dairy like I do, then the milk and the yogurt, but limiting the multiple sources of sugar. That in and of itself kind of ties into, again, the 3 diets that I recommend. The Mediterranean style of eating, the DASH, and the Flexitarian are all plant-based diets, focusing not on added sugar in the diet or the portions, but the better for you carbohydrates. Now, if you're interested in this information and want to stay up to date on further videos that I produce, please make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notified of all of my videos. Furthermore, if you're interested in my free 19-page guide, The Truth About Carbs, you can get that up here, and I'll also have a link in the description. Thanks for watching Neely on Nutrition, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. I have 4 calories per gram. That is where they are. Let's see. All right, here we go again.